I was already unmuted and I muted myself again. Greetings, everybody. How you doing out there? Welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. We lost Clobby. He'll be back. He's going to check out the trailer, so he'll be right back. We have with us already Mr. Script Doctor back again. It's been a while. We missed you.
Yeah, well, been busy on the evenings. Got a bunch of consults and writing's been picking up in California, so I'm got to be 3 hours behind, and this is their early afternoon over there. So
I figured maybe I said something wrong and you were just avoiding.
Oh, you'd never say anything wrong to me, Tom.
Maybe not to you, but that doesn't mean I won't say something wrong. It's
nothing that would
Tuesday.
burn a bridge with me yet. So
okay. Well, we also have joining us the one, the only Mexican Iron Man. Ole!
Tom, I need to know where are the forums here in the Midnight's Edge After Dark and Midnight's Edge offices for vacation.
What is wrong with you, Mikey?
I am burned the fuck out from tax season, and it still keeps
you
going.
Sound like it.
But I'm here. I am here with my brethren.
Off?
I'm with my brethren. No, hell no. I am here with my brethren.
Night off, you'll just go and do more taxes.
I'm here with my brethren to enjoy a much-needed good time. We're at the bar. I don't have any liquor. I got ice water.
Well, you can try and find some liquor or order.
I think it's awesome. Script Doctor's here because I've had a burning question.
You live in a fancy pants enough place. You could probably order in some liquor, wouldn't you be able to?
Oh yeah, they deliver. But no, I mean, I got to get out. I got to get out.
I hear you. I'm getting cabin fever like a mofo. Like, I'm so upset that I didn't get out to Vegas this week.
Tom, come to Dallas. Come to Dallas, Tom. We're hanging out in Dallas.
I'd like to sooner or
Mike,
later
you
get
can
out
come
here,
too. And I want you to come.
I've already been to Dallas. I was just in Dallas for meetup for Valhalla in November. When was I there? In October?
But the Dix division's going. And Culture will be there. He can't outrun you if he's stuck in the same town as you.
I'm not traveling to Dallas just to see Culture when Culture will try. I'm throwing it down. I am not going to make plans to go to Dallas to see Culture because Culture has never made plans to go to Dallas to see me.
You know what? If you actually gave him the invitation, I bet him and the missus would show up to your place.
I did. I told them. Oh, you mean Hilton Head? I've already invited.
Yes.
They've already committed. So if they don't show up,
all right. Well, they'll be there.
He is never going to hear the end of it for years to come.
Also joining us tonight, that voice you hear is Mr. 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser. How are you doing?
Mr. Tom Connors, I'm doing good. Obviously, I watched that trailer, but I'm going to reserve feedback. But hello to all the absolutely 100+ people in the chat, almost 200. Thank you for being here early and right away. Obviously, we got quite a show tonight, and not just this one, but the one after. So, yeah, let's get the ball rolling. Always good to be hanging out with this wonderful panel of dudes.
We got
and Mike
Tuesday tonight. And tonight
you're part of the dudes.
Death Wish.
Death Wish, yes. I can't
you said wonderful dudes, so I thought I should go wonderful dudes and Mike.
And we got Clobby back again. How you doing, Clobby?
Hey, buddy. Sorry about that. How's it going?
No, we had to have you go see the trailer so you can comment.
Yeah,
on it.
been gone all day. Another
few minutes.
Gotcha. Good to see you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Great Midnight's Edge show. Thank you, Tom, for having me.
And yours is an opinion I really want for this trailer. And we also have, last but not least so far, another Canadian, Mr. CZ Karaoke. How you doing?
Well, like Clobby, I just watched the trailer as you were talking. And, no, I'm doing all right. I've been working nonstop on the channel for the last 6 weeks, just like constant grind, and I finished that work this morning, so it's a load off. It's like, finally done.
Honestly, I'm probably more excited for the Equalizer 3 too, Shotgun Fringe, but we'll get into all that here in just a few minutes. Because we didn't get to see a lot of trailers today. We only got a couple, but the folks that were lucky enough to be in Las Vegas this week at Cinemacon not only got to see the trailer, but some people got to see the movie itself. So we may hear some things about that as we move along here. I don't know if it's showed yet or it's showing tonight, but I know it's supposed to be showing today at some point at Cinemacon. So, yeah. So let's see what the kids in the audience are talking about. We got Big Daddy MRI here who says, great panel. Thanks to Six. Thanks to the fantastic mods. Love you guys. Be safe and take care. Well, thank you, Big Daddy MRI. We appreciate that. Shoom is here, your favorite, Mikey.
Hi, Shum.
So what's this we hear that Mexican Iron Man has never seen Rambo? Yeah, I know, right?
Oh,
shocking.
shit.
So now we know who's coming to join us for Toxic Tuesday when it happens.
Yep, that's right. First blood. They drew first blood, and now I've gotta maim them, not really kill them.
Wow.
Well, it's kind of the song. It is kind of one of the worst songs ever for a movie if you really listen to it.
Even worse than Your Love Is Like a Lethal Weapon.
Yes.
That was pretty bad.
Which is another one that just, it doesn't work. It's weird. Zontar says, where's Valiant? I'm trying to serve him and WDW Pro a cease and desist to stop using the term Nintendo Cinematic Universe. He can't hide from me forever. I don't know. He's got a link. You can come on anytime. He's probably busy working. He's a busy man. But yes. Snow Dub, the thing has gone viral with Rambo now. See, the problem is still, though, Snow, is that Mikey can't even keep Rambo and Rocky straight yet. So.
Well, yeah, because the Sylvester Stallone did the boxing thing with the machine gun, right? Is that no? I'm so trying your patience right now. Tom right now is like, I love this guy. He's my brother, but I just want to cinematically bitch slap him.
Well, there's just.
I know you do, Tom. I know you do.
No, there's
Tom,
no guns in Rocky, okay?
Okay, Tom, tell me that for all of the things that we like and share and comment and for everything that you know about me, be honest. I know you're super disappointed in me on this one. Come on. Say it.
I can't be because you didn't make fun of me for not watching the Bond films.
No.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but my hand's starting to shake and trigger, but I'm going to hold it back.
But Tom, I thought you weren't a fan, which, that's fine and all.
I've only seen the first 4 or 5 or whatever it was we started watching. I haven't gotten past them yet. I think I upset everybody when I said the one was not very good at all. Mike, are you okay?
Yeah, I love the Bond films. I love them so much.
I liked You Only Live Twice.
I like that.
That was a good
You Only
one.
Live Twice is great. I love You Only Live Twice.
That one actually felt like what I expected a Bond film to feel like.
That one I have to
very
watch
tough.
in parts because for some strange reason I keep falling asleep in the middle of it. It doesn't bore me. That's the thing. It just doesn't. There's something about that movie that just puts me out.
Coinky dink.
Yeah.
Some
And then I
movies do
wake up
that.
and I pick up where I last remember and I watch it to
Isn't
the
that
end and
weird?
I'm enjoying it.
Nimoy
Especially-
Bond. But Nimoy Bond.
I had that consistently happen to me with episode 1, and it started in the theater because we went to see Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, and it was sold out. So my buddies and I are like, to hell with it. Let's go see Phantom Menace again. I really didn't want to because it had been like my 3rd time or whatever. I'm like, all right, whatever. There was nothing else to go see. And at that time, I don't know if The Matrix was still playing or not anyway, but I didn't get to see that till video. I don't know how that got under my radar at that point. But anyhow, short story long. But yeah, I always fell asleep during the pod racer scene, and I'd always wake up during the Darth Maul lightsaber scene. At
Good
the end.
timing.
Yeah, and it happened to me a couple times when I watched it at home, too. It was just weird. It was ironic. Every time it was like the same thing. It's like, yep, the pod racing scene's here. And then I just wake up for, Baya Jaya!
I wish I thought of that.
Years of people are gonna die? That was like, what? Yeah, as soon as you hear that chorus kick in, though, it wakes your ass up. You're just like, okay, here we are.
Oh man, I get to see the cool part.
When did we get to a gay bar?
Oh man. Hey, this movie's a lot better all of a sudden. They're fighting lightsabers and space battles. I'm in. All right.
Of course, then they have to intercut that with, let's try spinning. That's a neat trick.
Yeah, the
Oh my God, I was cringing
Jar
the first
stuff.
viewing of that. Like the Jar Jar stuff didn't bother me as much the first time out, but that stuff with the kid and that whole thing.
yeah.
And the space go-karts?
In the space
Yeah.
donut, yeah.
Right.
Go-kart.
Well, they were like the yellow ships. It's like, why is the
Yeah, the
kid
yellow
flying
ship.
a ship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
And he accidentally blows up the droid control ship. Accidentally. Like, anyway, Action Com says, Mikey, how dare you take over the show that was meant for Tom? Well, because I let him do it. Who do you think you are, Bo-Katan? No, he's a real YouTuber.
No, what?
Real live YouTuber.
No. No. Hashtag fake news. And I'm not running for president. Hashtag.
Come on now.
How did I take over the show?
I don't know. How'd you take it out?
You have that presence, dude.
You just show up and you're here. You're Mikey.
Okay, I'll
It's
go.
kind of your house. I mean,
I'll go make tortillas in the back.
see, look, it's your house.
It is so freaky that is almost exactly what my house looks like. It is so freaky you have that picture. Except it's
I didn't
painted.
even make it. Doug did.
God, that's so fucking weird. It's so weird. Stalker.
Joshicus Doggy Woggy sends in $4.99 and says, Tom has been on effing point the last few shows. Well, thank you. Keep up with the smart hilarity. Maybe it's because I've actually been sleeping here and there.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, you need sleep.
Sleep is for the weak.
Andre
I
was
was-
gone all weekend, so like I got some sleep. Sorry.
I actually watched Beavis and Butthead.
What do you
Me
think of
too.
the new episodes?
Dude, they were great. Both
Oh,
of
the
them.
meditation one was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. It was good.
Which one?
The
Meditation.
one.
Oh God!
Meditation
Oh
sucks, I
crap!
think
That
it's
was
called.
hilarious. Yeah.
Some people take their entire lifetime to read. To clear your minds of all thought.
Tom, this morning I announced on Loki's show that I hadn't seen these movies, and the chat viciously turned against your poor Mexican Iron Man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have been.
What is it? Why are people making fun of me because I don't know what 3 seashells are?
Oh, because
That's
from
Demolition
Man.
Demolition Man. Come on, you didn't see that?
Okay, Mikey doesn't like Sly. We gotta.
I'm gonna fix
okay.
that. I'm gonna work on it.
Yeah. No, hold on. No, we're gonna start off with Cobra from Mike.
No, well,
Cobra.
no, that might not. No, you have to start. He's seen
That's
Rocky.
like starting somebody off with cocaine, dude.
Yeah,
That's
there's four
fine.
options you can do.
We're
No,
going in
there's two
raw.
options you can do. You can do Rocky or you can do Death Race 2000.
Okay, I saw Rocky.
Okay,
I saw the first.
Death Race 2000 is almost like starting somebody on mushrooms, though.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. No.
But it's Sly. I mean, he's in that.
It
and he's-
is, but that's a fun
He is,
movie.
but
But I don't know how Mikey would react to that. I think he's better off starting with, like you said, either Rocky or First Blood.
I'm
and
gonna
then
start
from
with
there,
First
yeah.
Blood, and starting after this weekend, I'm gonna start with First Blood, and I'm gonna have one First Blood / Rambo / whatever the hell else they're called movie a week
I don't
until I
even know
get
if you
through
can
them all.
find is Death Race even available
it's
on
out there
streaming?
somewhere.
Well, it's been out of print
ooh,
for a
that's
while.
a good question.
Because I had to pay $50 for it on Blu-ray.
Oh
Oh,
crap!
I got it.
Shit.
I got a Blu-ray and digital copy for like 28 on this one sale. So let me see. Death Race 2000 original.
Yeah, it's been out of print for a few. I've been waiting for the 4K.
So I'm guessing he's been in more than a couple movies, is what I'm hearing here.
Oh, Sly? He's been acting since the early 70s, man.
I'm
No,
gonna-
Oddly
I-
enough, you can watch it on YouTube for free.
Well, there you go. Good. I mean, Death Race 2000. It's a good movie. It's just not. I don't know if you'd really like it, Mikey. It's a very B
It's a
movie.
weird one. It's weird.
Yeah. Push Pan Down says, "Don't hold back, Clobby. We seek your Marvel and DC wisdom." Well, we're about to hear it.
Oh, I have no
right
wisdom,
after-
and I never hold back, but I have no wisdom either.
Oh, don't even be so humble.
Klobby, come on.
I leave that to the guys like Script and Mike. You know, those are the wisdom guys here. I'm
You're
sure
the
to talk about
smartest orange
geekness.
man I know.
Oh, you're too kind. I don't know. That's a lot of competition. You know that orange man. He's pretty smart. Well,
Yeah, well, he said some pretty stupid things too.
he
so.
does. I can outstupid him any day.
Tierra Starbrighter says pod racing scene needs more stakes. If Anakin had won and and his mother goes free, instead he only comes in second and blames himself for losing mom.
That'd be cool.
The whole thing was kind of convoluted to begin with.
Yeah, like there's no exchange hut somewhere on Tatooine for Republic credits to whatever currency they use.
And I really stretch with the whole slave thing in the way they had them presented. It's just kind of like, the kid's employed.
It would be more interesting if Anakin and Owen were best friends and they were spice smugglers operating out of Tatooine.
Did you see that one thing that one guy did that rewrote the prequels and did the little drawing video of it? It went viral a couple years back.
Oh,
I loved his version of episode 1 and 2, but I wasn't too keen on his episode 3.
He did the idea with the invention of the blaster, so bullets were replaced with lasers, right?
I'm not 100% sure on that, but he had the same thing in that he actually had Anakin, I believe, a little older in episode 1, and him and Owen were best friends, like you just said. And that was kind of the whole setup for, the fall of him to the dark side, and him. That's why he's the adopted father of Luke, and it all made more sense.
Oh yeah, like my idea would be Beru is Anakin's younger sister or twin sister, what have you, and that's the actual familiar relation.
That would kind of work too, but I mean,
makes more sense because it's actually a blood relative, not these strangers that are.
This whole idea of making him a slave didn't make no sense to me anyway. You didn't have to do that. They did. George only did that for one of two reasons, and that was A, for the reason of why he hadn't been trained yet as a Jedi in this time when Jedis are so prominent. And B, just to make him sympathetic, I guess, for some reason, to have a horrible upbringing, like a bad background to want to get away
that comes from the fact that George Lucas is so technical in things that he's not very philosophical, even though he does achieve some good philosophical stuff, because he takes Yoda's line of that he held his own council to see who is trained as a literal council of people, as opposed to what holding council means is you have a meeting. It's a private one-on-one meeting to determine if someone is to be trained. And he decided, well, wouldn't it be more interesting to have a massive Jedi society located on a single planet, as opposed to making them kind of like, the man with no name, wandering, Jedi that just go from planet to planet, solving problems as they are, fighting for truth and justice in the galaxy, not at the behest of government, but at the behest of what the people need. That is more Jedi-like in its initial premise from the original trilogy than what we saw in the prequels.
Well, and I was even just going from the simplicity of, he wants to claim that the prequels rhymed. Well, then that's where the first episode 1 should have been more of like Star Wars, right? You have young Anakin, who's on the outskirts of the galaxy. That's why he's never been discovered yet. He's very loyal to his friends and his mother. That's why he's never really left. And you have this Jedi show up like they do in the movie. And much like, his journey should parallel Luke's, only it goes the opposite direction, right? Like, in the second film, it should parallel Empire, but only instead of him, clearly making the right decisions like Luke was supposed to be doing, he's making all the wrong decisions, and then he's already turned to the dark side by the third film. And
well, actually, you do the inverse, where Luke in Empire fails every test that Yoda gives him. Anakin passes every test that Obi-Wan has, and that creates the arrogance, and then thus
that works too.
Yeah,
but the other problem is, and I think this guy also brings up, is that you don't have a main character, so you either have to age Anakin up and make him the main character, or it should come from Obi-Wan's point of view. And I think it more or less should have been from Obi-Wan's point of view. But we've talked about this kind of shit to death, but but
I feel like I'm reliving one of our 5 other times we
House Atreides sends in $5.50 and says, "Hail, gentlemen, has anyone seen Apple TV's Ghosted?" No, but I've heard a lot
I've actually
about
got it pending right now.
It's on my list. God, everybody,
I've
is
heard
it good?
So bad.
I don't know.
Bad.
I read the script. The original script is better because it's not Chris Evans as the damsel in distress. It's a woman, and the spy is a man. And
Oh,
And it
Oh,
makes
there's a
way more,
sucker.
Well,
Manson
House of
Distress.
Trades sounds
makes
like he
way more
likes it.
sense like that. I don't know how.
Wait,
it's
so it sucks or it's good?
Well,
the
House of
script
Trades
was
said
good.
really
Yeah.
good action comedy, got a lot of good laughs, but I've been hearing nothing but bad reviews about it.
Oh no. But Anna de Armas is smoking hot.
She is.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to see her running around saving Chris
I'm not
Evans.
a big
dumbass,
fan
so.
of Chris Evans outside of Captain America. Yeah, like
Me
I
either.
want to see Chris Evans do more comedies because he's got the chops for it. But
Yeah.
he
I don't
hasn't
know if I
done
need to
many
see him
good
as a
ones
damsel in
after
distress,
Batman.
though. Ugh.
Yeah, it's weird because, well, the way I look at it this way is that any boy that's lived up to an adult to a degree has gotten into at least one physical fight, and if you haven't, you're not much of a man.
Right.
I'm just saying. And Chris Evans, the way that he works out and is physically fit, it looks like he's probably been in a fight or two, and yet we're supposed to believe that he's this type of guy that if he were to be captured by spies, yes, he'd be terrified and nervous, but he wouldn't be behaving in a way like it's the first time he's seen conflict. And that's kind of like what the trailer suggests. And in the script, that's kind of what happens with the girl, is that she's never seen conflict of this level ever before. And she's trying to talk her way out of it in the script. And it's funny, but it doesn't, I don't know if that would work well unless they did a massive rewrite of the dialogue. But from what I saw in the trailer, they didn't really. It strains credulity. So
Yeah. Very 2023 sounds like to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, but this would have been shot in maybe 21, 22. Like, again, the year doesn't matter. It's the culture around it. It's like, it's just bad right now. It's really
Well, you
bad.
never
I
see
think that's
anything
the
where-
way they got this made, though, is because of, like, it doesn't have an angle that we can sell it with. Well, what if the woman is the spy and the guy is the damsel? All right, there, the bank signed the check. There you go. And it's like, well, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I think we're caught up with the super chats and the members stuff. Let me double check on the member stuff.
Check our members.
It doesn't look like I've gotten anything new yet in there, so we're good to go. Let's talk about the Flash trailer. We got a new Flash trailer today. I guess you could call it a Flash trailer. It really is more like a Batman trailer, but
Featuring the Flash, yeah.
featuring the Flash and the Flash and the Flash.
And Super
Supergirl.
Mexican girl.
All right, well, Mike, take it away, my friend. What was your thoughts on the trailer?
Oh, I get to go first? Well, as it's been well established here, I am historically the biggest Snyder fan on the Midnight Sage After Dark universe. And I have been in recovery for a while now. I have been Snyderverse free in terms of my recovery. And I've been Snyder sober for at least 1 year, 3 months, 2 weeks, and this day. My life has become more manageable now that I'm not a Snyderaholic. And yeah, I want to thank my friends here for getting me through all the steps. On a serious note, I did have a little bit of Snyder PTSD flashback on this one. It's weird seeing a very Snydery looking thing without Henry Cavill. I don't like the Supergirl Latin chick with the short hair and the fucked up outfit. It's very distracting to me. I am just afraid this is just going to be a bunch of the whole Michael Keaton thing. I don't know. They just should have done it. If they're going to bring Michael Keaton into DC and bring him back, give him his own movie and let him do Batman Beyond or something. Was my first reaction. I don't know, man. I can't say I'm super excited. Every time I see Ezra Miller, I just want to. It's like I'd rather have a chalkboard, and I just want to scratch my nails against the chalkboard every time I see him. So, how excited am I? Meh. That's how excited I am. I'm very meh.
All right, Script Doctor.
Well, it's a trailer. Michael Keaton seems to deliver a pretty interesting emotional performance with regards to his parents. I think the woman with the gray hair at the Bat Vault might be Michelle Pfeiffer, but that's just my hopes, not necessarily a guarantee. It's very much a script written with someone that has a superficial understanding of Batman from 89 to 92. Because you have the requoting of his stuff that he's said, the Get Nuts line. You have a very unimaginative take on the direction and the stunts, because you have this scene where Batman is using his cape to block bullets and there's sparks flying off the cape, but that doesn't make any sense. It'd be more interesting if the cape kind of like got, indented and then bounced back and there weren't any sparks, because that would show, oh, it's fabric that's bulletproof and it doesn't have to spark because, stupid. Batwing looks cool. Like, again, it's kind of like a toy commercial, but I don't care. And it's got a lot of Man of Steel-ish aspects to it. I don't like the fanboying of the Flash over Batman in the movie. I don't think that's authentic at all. The whole part where it's like, there's your parachutes are strapped to your shoot, where's yours? And he just drops and he's like, oh my god, that's awesome. No, that's not appropriate in a movie. Because you're basically just circumventing the stakes of what is at hand there. And also Flashpoint, the story that this is based off of, it's one of the worst Batman time travel Flash stories there is. Despite the fact that it gives you an interesting alternate universe. It's like that. It's not good enough. Sorry. I think that they can probably get away with some of the emotional strings they're doing with regards to the relationship to family. And it seems like they're establishing why Barry has good parents and why he cares about them, why he misses them, which is good story beats, because it gives us an understanding like, oh yeah, there's actually a relationship here. It's not just an arbitrary, I have to save them because they're my parents. It's like, I have to save them because they're parents and I actually love them. And it's not out of a lack of options, because again, children have no choice but to trust their parents, because who else is there? It doesn't mean that those parents are good or bad. It just means that's the way the relationship works. And as you grow older, you either maintain that trust or you lose it. And that's a dynamic that gets taken for granted a lot, mostly in American cinema, not so much in foreign cinema. They kind of understand the responsibilities a bit more on the artists at least do. I can't say for the same as in Hollywood, they don't get it, but most other parents, they understand that responsibility a lot. It's like, oh yeah, this little helpless thing, I can't do anything. I have to take care of it. So yeah, I mean, it's got certain chess pieces there, but I don't think they're able to. I don't think the people playing the game know how to play chess. That's my opinion.
It's like they're playing chess, or they're playing checkers with a chessboard.
Well, checkers is still a trickier game. It's like they're playing chess and they think the rules are like tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, CC, what's your reaction?
My reaction is actually kind of similar in a way, but I'll use a music reference. It's like when you're batting above your level. My impression from this trailer is that they're trying to be huge, they're trying to be epic. The music suggests that they want to be, like Endgame level kind of movie here. And there's very, very few Ronnie James Dios. A singer who's like he's in his 60s and he's just the best he ever was. There's a lot of singers that go on stage, 20, 30 years after their heyday and they can't cut it anymore, but they sure do try. In this trailer, it just looks like it wants to be something it can't possibly be. It's not going to be, and it's not going to be epic the way it's trying to portray itself. I do like the family elements, but I think that's like if you had somebody who knew how to play to their strengths, you would take that on a much quieter level and a lower budget level. And instead, they're going bombast with all this CGI and huge sequences and large arenas. This should be a personal movie. Setting aside my bias or my feelings about the actor and all of that, I think it would just be much better served as a smaller story. And they're definitely not going that way.
Interesting. Nick.
So I get a script and karaoke's positions on the whole idea with the family element. My issue with that is that it feels like we're lacking the story to invest in their parents, Henry and Nora Allen. That would be Barry's parents, and it's like we're starting off with the Flash movie, but it's basically his fifth or sixth movie because we've not had time to get to know the parents, grow with them. Now we're just supposed to dive right into this time travel story where so much changes and gets done, undone. I feel like I've not had a proper time to feel anything. Should whatever happen to Barry's parents? Like at least with the books, you've had that, and then on top of that, the Flashpoint story is the most beaten to death comic book line in the last 10 years, outside of DC trying to do the next Watchmen or Dark Knight Returns for the 300th time. Because since 2011, we had the original comic book storyline, we had the animated movie 3 years later, then we had it done on TV for the CW another 1 or 2 years later, and then we got a sequel to the comic books. Why? And now we got a movie coming out of it. It's just this storyline is already beaten to death. It's the idea of what happens when you are out of ideas with your characters and you need to fix things. And this is the first Flash movie, and it's really not a Flash movie. It's about Batman. That's all anyone's talking about. Just
surprised they didn't give him cancer too. Just when you're running out of ideas, you either give one of the characters cancer or you cancel the show.
This trailer is just. I feel like I feel like it's just lacking in emotion for me to feel anything because there's nothing in to invest in. Even what little that we've had, even if I take out my feelings about Ezra Miller, let's just pretend he's done none of the bad things. I can put myself in that position. I've not had time to invest in this character, and we're basically starting off his first movie in a story that would be saved for the 6th or 7th movie of the Flash. It just feels way out of place, and it's not a Flash movie. And for those who are wondering, because I see some comments in the chat about Supergirl, that's the look of the character from the Injustice video games. For me, I don't like those games. I'm tired of evil Superman. If you're into those games, you might be all about it. I don't know anything about the actress. Maybe she's an okay lady. I don't know. But to me, I see that and I don't see or feel Supergirl at all. She just completely comes off as just girl boss, female type of character. And just the, super serious face of look how strong I am. Maybe I'm wrong and she'll be different, but just judging by what I'm seeing from the trailer, I don't care, honestly. And at least with the Keaton things, it only works because you've had the investment. The Keaton stuff, if you take it outside of being someone who doesn't know it, you wouldn't understand or feel anything. At least that's what works to the trailer's advantage is the Keaton stuff. But even then, it's not enough to sell me to see this movie. So yeah, maybe I'll watch it sometime between now and my death, but it won't be in the theater.
Whoa. Well, can't blame you.
All right, Clobby.
Yeah, it's pretty much like everyone else. I'm underwhelmed by it. Of course, it's just another trailer. I have biases going, all up and down going for this one, especially hating Flashpoint as much as I do. Hating, can I really? Granted, it's not much of a Flash movie, and there's the title, the titular character. But quite frankly, that's probably the best thing about this movie. Ezra Miller at least has to share it a little bit. Because man, could you imagine if it were just him in the entire movie, the whole thing? Good God! So, although the nostalgia of Michael Keaton won't be enough to elevate it, it's certainly going to get a lot of people to go see it. Not me, but a lot of people. And it just overall looks like a big, typical, overblown, boring mess. The trailer is just, I guess it's exciting for people who want to see Michael Keaton regurgitating famous lines from the '89 movie, and probably right script that probably was Michelle Pfeiffer. It looked like it from the back there. And
remember when Sam wrote that line? We should use that line. Hey, Sam, can we do?
Yeah, say Ham. Yeah.
No, you're on the story.
Exactly.
All right, we're just gonna steal it then.
Exactly. It just looks like. I don't know. Again, I understand a lot of people really love the Michael Keaton Batman, and I like that movie fine. But Batman means far more to me than that one movie. But there's a gigantic chunk of the public that grew up saw that movie as a fairly young age. Really loved it. And if you get into the discussion with your average, some of your average or the normies about Batman, the first thing they think of is Michael Keaton, even today. But they don't think of, either comics or cartoons or Adam West or even Christian Bale. A lot of them think about Michael Keaton. He's very popular, all fine and good. That'll get some people there. It doesn't do a whole lot for me because remember, for every bit of Michael Keaton, you're probably going to get double the Ezra Miller. And wow,
Literally because he plays two parts. So yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah, double him. That's right. And who's that? The picture you were showing earlier with the two Flashes, two different costumes. Was that both him?
Yeah, that's both him.
Both
One
him?
version
Okay.
is a modified bat suit.
Okay.
Turned into a Flash costume.
Right. They're both terrible.
And then, of course, there's also the stuff that circulated around the internet for many months, which is that Ezra also plays a third Flash, an evil Flash.
Well, it's pretty much confirmed now because Toys came out April 15th.
Toys, yeah. So they always blow
And we
things.
all saw the characters, and just as we were told, there's the evil Flash, which is like all black, and he's got all this crud all over him. It's
Of
Barry.
course.
Oh my god.
Another evil Flash.
Yes.
Just what we need.
So as we were told,
Turtle
he
Man
plays
would be
three
way more
roles.
interesting.
Yeah.
I thought the evil Flash outfit in DC looked different. Why does it look like?
I don't know. I mean, like, obviously not. He's not Reverse Flash. He's a different evil Flash. But by the way, is Reverse Flash?
Is he BLM Flash? I don't understand.
Yeah,
Well, he is a black Flash, but not a black actor.
Well, there's Black Flash, the character. Then there's Professor Zoom. Then there's Eobard
Right.
Thawne's Reverse Flash. Then there's
There's all kinds.
Savitar, who they made evil Barry Allen in the Flash TV show for season 3.
Right.
When Savitar was just Savitar. He was just always Savitar in the books because I know Wade did a lot of comics with Savitar. And then there was Godspeed as well. Yeah, there was a lot of speedster villains
There's
for
too
better
many,
and
point
worse.
where-
Yeah, there's way too many.
So many
Way
that are
too
like,
many.
no, the Flash is not the fastest man alive.
Is
No,
it
not
that
even
hard to just give us a movie where he faces Captain Cold?
In this case, he's not even a man. So
No.
That's true.
Well, here's the other part. I
he's-
keep forgetting this, but Claudia, you might remember. When did they retcon Barry Allen's backstory so that his mother was murdered? Because I think that was,
that
Mid
was
2000s.
like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, or whatever. I hate that so much. I cannot
remember.
tell you.
It's Flash
dumb.
Rebirth.
Jeff Johns. It was. I think it was
Flash
Johns.
Rebirth. It
I
was.
hate.
that's them trying to Batmanize Flash again in the comics,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It
although
was.
there was some story, it was also drawing on some stuff that was done earlier, but for the most part, it was that, and I hate it so much. Why can't look? So many superheroes have this tragic backstory. They all have, something bad happened in their life. Peter Parker, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, and it's fine. But we had the one guy, Barry Allen, who just gets these superpowers, and because he read comics as a kid and read comics that took place on Earth 2 as a kid, and
Wow.
he idolized the Flash. He becomes a superhero because he gets superpowers and he wants to help people. He didn't need the
That's what it looks
stupid
like
tragic
throw up.
backstory. That looks horrible.
Yeah,
That looks
the
like
best
throw
part
up.
was that Barry was already on the path of helping people,
Right.
becoming a
He was a cop.
CSI. And then as soon as he gets these powers, he's like, well, I
Yeah.
use my mind skills for CSI. I can use my physical skills to help in the
Yeah,
streets.
he
and
did not need the tragic backstory.
no, he doesn't.
Idiocy
Hal
to give him
Jordan
that.
doesn't have a tragic backstory either.
Not really. No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But a lot of them do, though, and it's perfectly fine. I get it. But
It's
how
fine
about
in right
one that
doses.
doesn't have it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was great to have one that wasn't like that. I love Barry Allen, not this one. That guy, that's another thing. This is the worst casting of a superhero I've ever seen.
Yep.
Oh, you can
Still
blame
to
Zack
this
Snyder
day.
for that.
Oh, I do.
Hack Snyder. Oh, he's terrible.
Look at them trying to give Ezra muscles there.
You nailed the script when you said at times it feels like or is this someone else? It feels like a Snyder movie at some parts, and it does.
does.
Like
Oh yeah, I got that.
I watch it, I'm
impression.
just like, oh great,
got-
just more of that trash
Well,
again.
it's got Man of Steel crap all over it with that version of Zod and all that garbage.
Oh
on
yeah,
that
that's
note,
stupid Zod.
I guess this is where I come in because
Tom was right.
need I say I earned this?
Tom was.
I fucking knew it! Oh!
Because like I said, how long
Yep.
is it going to take for people to realize that, hey, we already got this movie once before called Man of Steel, only it had Superman in it, now being replaced by Supergirl.
The girl.
the Batman in this trailer does feel Snyder.
Not even the right Supergirl. But yeah.
It has been an absolute
that's
ride to watch
atrocious.
Tom predict stuff and then watch this trailer, and I'm like, holy shit.
Well, it wasn't predicting, Mike. Like I said, I had my inside tracks. We all knew some of the leaks.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I can only credit that kind of stuff. But at that point, like I said, because, you know, when they started saying, oh, this is like Back to the Future and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, oh, great. So we get to relive Man of Steel, which already, or Man of Stool is Clobby. So,
10 years after it came out, we see it again.
yeah.
Yep, 10 years later.
Now with a chick. And we're being distracted with Michael Keaton. That's
Yeah.
really what it is. It's like, look at this over here. Don't mind this over here.
Well, it's a perfect example of dangling keys in front of a baby. I mean, that's what it is. You're just trying to distract them from what's actually going on. And, you know, because the child's perspective is so minuscule at this point, they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Flash's suit looks like
guess.
CGI latex.
She looks like she took Spider-Man's costume and put a Superman on it.
I will say, at least
Yeah,
they
it does.
maintained her curves a little better in the post.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the hair, but she's a lovely woman. I mean,
Oh yeah, the hair was
She
a
might
bad
be
call.
she might be a nice
Okay,
lady, but
you
that
guys
suit
think-
is atrocious.
You guys think that this is Michelle Pfeiffer? Is that what you were saying?
I think it's Bruce Wayne with long hair.
It could be
Iron
Bruce
Man.
Wayne with long hair.
I
That'd
think
be
it's
funny.
Bruce Wayne with long hair because when we see the hand, it's the same hand. It's that sweatshirt that's on the hand.
oh, I hope not. But you
I
probably
think
are.
it's still, I think
Why is he blonde then?
it's
Not
Dylan
great.
Mulvaney
I
bringing
think
some
the
Bud Light.
lighting.
It's Dylan Mulvaney bringing Bud Light to the Batcave.
I
So
think
he's
it's
blonde?
the lighting making his hair look
Oh,
blonde,
okay.
and then once
Yeah.
you actually see
I
him,
don't know.
maybe I'm
He's more
wrong.
gray, but he does have blonde hair and all, like a blondish, grayish colored hair and everything. Like the toys.
Yeah.
Like I said, the toys came out like 2 weeks ago. I don't know why people have been posting pictures last 2 days. I'm like, I saw these like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Like
Wow.
nobody's buying them already at the store.
Nobody's gonna buy him. Probably
Batman
crap.
is the only one I can see people buying, and I thought
Yeah,
for 2
yeah.
seconds about buying the Michael Keaton Batman.
They had the Michael Keaton Batman already.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't like the costume.
But
And,
Tom,
and as we were told, also you pick up the figure and you can even see it. It's the other costume the other Flash has is the Batman Returns costume painted over.
Oh, what are scales of the figures? What kind of?
Oh, these were like 10-inch, but they've got tons of them. There's different ones. There's different
it's a-
scales and different
okay.
articulation. And
McFarlane or
McFarlane has some of them, but there was some that are like those cheap.
Okay.
Cheap. They only got like the heads, the arms, and the legs are articulated. Nothing
Oh,
else.
yeah.
Like those cheap ones they had there already and stuff like
So-
that.
Gotcha.
Okay, so
So
with
Tom-
the toys aside, with the if Bruce Wayne has the long hair, then that means he's been retired as Batman when he gets to this Flash thing, right?
that's what I
Yeah.
was assuming. Yeah.
And he's like,
Well,
oh, well, I
Tom-
got to wear the suit again, so time for a haircut.
Mhm.
When you buy that Batman figure, if you ever do, let me know if the head turns on it.
Does he have the superhero turn? That's the
Yeah.
thing that sucks is like it is like a very big bait, right? Especially with like
Yeah.
the Batwing and the car. And it's like, how's the car
Yeah.
back? The car got destroyed.
Oops.
But he was rebuilding it in the tail end
Yeah,
of the
rebuilding it, yeah.
film.
Was he really?
Yes, he
Yeah.
was.
No,
He
he
was
never
in
let-
there. He was in there, and he's like, Alfred says, we got invited to that Shrek thing. He's like, not
Alfred
interested.
was working on it. Yeah.
And he rips it in half.
Ah,
He's
well,
like,
then
the Kyle
he's-
might be there.
It doesn't matter because it's still rebuilt as a totally different one than in the third and fourth film. So,
Yeah, but this
Apparently it's a
movie
different universe.
those are from two different universes.
yeah.
oh
Different
yeah,
actor,
don't even
different
get
universe.
me started on that because supposedly George Clooney and Nicolas Cage show up in this batshit crazy thing.
I hope so.
Wait, what the fuck? No. Whoa. What?
This is the latest rumor going around. Now, before I call bullshit, but we're close enough now that
Wait
I'm
a
like, wait
minute.
here.
What?
I
Supposedly,
It's
yeah.
true. I hope it's true.
What?
Because if they put George Clooney in this thing, that's like world breaking. Because
Why?
they're the same Batman.
Right. Yes.
They're supposed to be, yes, because they have the same Alfred, the same Commissioner Gordon, the same Robin.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, they never had Robin in the Michael Keaton world, but yeah, no, that's all the other same characters other than, yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And the Superman lives thing, like, okay, that's funny, but nobody is going to get it but a few select nerds.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I guess it's just a
funny
shot where he's going through and you see Nicolas Cage fighting a giant spider as a joke. Fine. But again, more people like me are going to have to explain to people in the theater what the hell that means than, yeah. Because you're going to have a lot of people going, why is Nicolas Cage Superman?
Just let them ask the question. Don't answer it. Walk away.
It's Nick Cage in a movie. It makes everything.
No, the answer is it's not Nicolas Cage. It's Nick fucking Cage. Then walk away.
Yikes! Oh my goodness!
Oh Lord! I agree with you guys too. The Flash has never had an origin story before. Like, not on film anyway. We have the TV show and
TV show has
two TV shows, yeah.
Yeah, but never on film. And you're right, Nick, you brought it up. This feels like a part 3. This feels like we've had 2 movies that should be leading up to this that we never got to see.
Yeah. Like everything else they do at DC movies. They're always like this.
I hate sounding like I'm going to defend this trio in this one slight aspect, because we were talking about how this trio is filled with bait. I don't think they have a choice but to do that, and because, especially after the not so successfulness of the Shazam sequel, and they know obviously Aquaman 2 is probably gonna not do good at all, especially with the Amber Heard stigma attached to it. I think this is just their way of saying, no, we gotta take up our loss at this movie and let's just try to get as much money as possible, because this movie is probably gonna underperform at best.
Oh, that's what happens when you have no foreplay.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting to hear this discussion that we're having right now for me, because when this movie comes out with all of these data points that you guys are bringing up, it's going to be another situation where we're going to, after the movie comes out, be talking about, oh, they did this member bury that member, that old reference. That we really got to get to a place in movies and cinema again where we're telling new stories and we're all be able to move forward and talk about where we went in terms of going forward, and not another movie that just tries to give us some little, familiar crackers that we've already had a million times already.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's where I've enjoyed the original films we've had this year so far that were decent. I mean, even as much of a letdown as Cocaine Bear was to a point, it was still refreshing to see something like that than Superhero Movie Part 6, right? And even Renfield being a quasi-sequel or what have you to the original Dracula, it still is not setting up some sequel. Not that it would ever get one, considering how bad it flopped. But you know what I mean? Like, I was refreshed to see those kind of things. Megan was another one that I was really impressed by. So we have some original properties out there. Some people like 65. I haven't seen it yet. So there's some stuff out there, Mikey. We're getting it. But, yeah, I don't know. We've got we've got Transformers, and Guardians of the Galaxy are the next 3 big movies, basically. I mean, and how excited are you for any of those guys? I don't know.
I'm excited for Mission Impossible.
That's not until July.
Yeah, outside Mission Impossible,
I still want to see Guardians, but yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it could be a me issue, but I'm not feeling the interest. I'm sure I'll see it, but my interest right now has definitely waned on it, and I don't know if it's because I've not watched a Marvel movie since Doctor Strange, but who knows? Maybe it'll still be good though. I'd love for it to be good, but I don't know, man. We'll see. I did, like I said, say I saw the holiday special, and I did enjoy that. That was fun. And when Christmas comes around again, I'll be watching it again.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's go and see what you guys are talking about in the chat. We got The Lost Warrior who says, started Picard 3 episodes in, it's crap.
It stays crap too, dude, but the rest of the universe is going insane and loves it. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, sorry to hear that. Cedar Stuff says, show the frame from 128 of the trailer, BAD. 128 of the trailer. Well, I do have the trailer here. Let me bring it back up.
Show the frame 128.
No one's going to pick up the Nicolas Cage story.
know.
appearance.
Like not outside of, like I said, if you're lucky, 3-4 people in the theater.
Still would be funny, but
No one's gonna pick that up.
I don't mind that obscure reference. I think that's fine. I think they got far worse issues to worry about right now, like having a coherent, not
true.
Flash story, and having Batman being the star of the Flash movie, and then of course, then there's Ezra Miller existing and breathing. Like there's so many other big problems that they need to address. I'm fine with the obscure reference, and especially for a guy like me, I love seeing those little nods because it lets me know that someone actually did their homework, was trying to put something in there, so certain eagle-eyed fans catch. But this trailer was
okay. I don't
not
know if he
eagle-eyed.
means this specifically or just the whole big glamour shot alone.
That whole set looks pretty bad.
And there you can really tell that's the old
Ooh,
Batman.
that looks awful.
what the hell is that?
Yep.
Hold on, go back. Go zoom in on that on the right.
That's what I was telling you. They took the Batman Returns outfit and painted it over. Yeah.
And they cut off the ears.
Add some
God.
lightning effect. Sure, why not?
The other Flash costume was better than that.
No, they changed this one. This isn't the one he used to
that
have.
one's
Notice?
better, even though it just looks like latex
little
CGI.
better, yeah.
It looks like a latex condom CGI. That's all it looks like. But it's
Yeah.
better. The right one's just an embarrassment.
It is embarrassing.
Wow, he looks fucking ridiculous as
Script
fuck.
is right though. They did
does.
make her. They did give her more curves and bigger boobs now.
Yeah,
She
Yeah.
had
and Mexican Iron Man is all in favor of big boobs.
Big bulbs. Big bulb.
Yeah,
before.
big
Some
boobs.
bobs there.
We're looking for the chick with big bulbs.
We're
And all
ready
of
to do
Congress
you
laughed.
now.
We're ready to do you now.
Oh, dude, the episode was funny. When the grandpa walked in, I was freaking dying. And then Butthead's just eating popcorn, watching Beavis get his ass kicked.
Jesus, all of you know how to do that impersonation? All of you?
That was all.
One of them was my
I can't
button.
do it.
Yeah.
Damn it, Beavis. I have a crisis in my pants.
Oh, that was good. See, that would be the
Talking about
perfect
Beavis
time
and
for
Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead to just
God.
show up in this movie during that show.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, well, I have a flashpoint down here.
We're gonna score.
And then Shoom sends in another 5. Thank you so much. It says, I don't know if I can watch Flashpoint story for a third time. It's now been an animated movie, part of the Flash TV series, and now another movie.
Good
Yeah, and
point.
if I remember right, when they started doing it in the series, it got kind of detoured because they're like, oh, we're going to use that for the movie. So they had to kind of move away from it. If you guys
Yeah.
remember or not. But
I remember
I
hearing
do.
stuff of that nature.
One
I mean, that's why they got
episode.
rid of the Suicide Squad and Arrow, is because, oh, we're doing the movie, The Suicide Squad. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And then they get Amanda Waller, who doesn't look anything like Amanda Waller. Like, she's thin and sexy. It's like, this isn't supposed to be Amanda Waller.
That was weird.
It was
Amanda
one
Baller.
episode
This movie comes out when?
this June.
June
That's
16th, the
that's
week
in
after
2 months.
Transformers. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go. I want to track.
Mecca J says the director and Peter Safran are already shilling for Ezra, saying he gave a great performance and one of the best actors they've ever worked with. Well, of course they got to say that shit.
They
Yeah, you
have
really
to.
think a studio is going to let anyone say anything
Right.
bad about the movie
No.
to
No.
hurt its box office? What are you, nuts?
It was amazing.
It's just
Yeah.
amazing ball.
But like I said, I
Amazing balls.
am willing to I'm willing to bet somebody that we don't see another Flash movie with Ezra Miller, especially within the next 5 years. Because as you saw with that whole plan, not one thing in that plan mentioned had anything to do with Flash.
Mhm.
Not
Right.
one.
That's a good point.
So that means they're going to distance themselves from Flash for just a little bit.
That's a very good point, sir.
And the only way Ezra Miller sticks around in any way, shape, or form is if this movie just somehow manages to make like $2 billion. Even
Yeah,
$1
'cause
billion,
this will have to
I don't
break-
think is enough.
This will have to break $1 billion in order for them to at least possibly get a profit, given how much money they've spent on this movie over
Exactly.
the past 7 years.
Wait, how much?
We have no idea.
They have to break at minimum $1 billion for them to even possibly suggest they bring it a profit.
I've heard anywhere between $300 and $500 million easy on this budget.
Yeah,
because they've reshot this movie no less than 3 times now.
Where do they?
You gotta remember, they started shooting this back when we were in high school.
They were shooting this around the time that Justice League was being in post-production.
Yeah.
That's when they started.
Yeah, so this thing's been around since like my kid was technically actually still in high school.
Wow.
You're not wrong.
The Iranian Putin is now a member. Thank you so much, Iranian Putin. Minimum effort puppy. Well, it's not untrue to a point.
I mean, are there no accountants left in Hollywood? Like after I left, like I guess the rest of them left too, right? Like there's just none left. There's no one's left working finance, accounting, or budget at all who has a math background in Hollywood.
Or they're just being paid off or something, I guess, Mikey.
No,
I have no idea.
Like, we have to make this the best thing it can be, even if it doesn't make any money at this point. So,
I was told
financial hit.
Yeah, I was told beyond the fact that it cost, enough to buy a small country, that they were obligated to put this out. That's why it didn't get killed in that tax deal. Is because it did test well enough. Well, of course it will. It's got Michael Keaton in it. And also they have, because of Michael Keaton and certain others, they have back-end deals. And don't forget how much they had to pay out for Wonder Woman when that went to streaming. So if they would have canceled this movie, they probably could have canceled it, but they probably would have had to dish out God knows how much to Michael Keaton and Ezra Miller and Ben Affleck. So I guarantee at least those 3 had back-end deals on this movie. And then you have all the toy licenses and the Happy Meals and the food licenses where they're on Pepsi cans and everything else. That's where, remember, also with Wonder Woman, they got pissed and Doritos is like, fuck you guys. We're putting out the Doritos now. Because guess what? These have an expiration date. They're going to be expired before you put Wonder Woman out. So we have to get them out now. So they came out the summer before the movie actually came out because the movie was supposed to be out that July and it didn't get brought out until November or December, whatever it was. So yeah, in that case, they lost a lot of money with Wonder Woman. So I can guarantee you that was probably the reason why this happened.
So for $350 million, that's the best outfit they could put on this Flash kid?
I'd say it's probably more than that, Mike.
I mean, it would seem like they would have like a couple extra 100. I mean, like if I think for 10 grand, I could get a pretty amazing suit. There wasn't 10 grand in a budget of 350 million to improve that outfit. I'm telling you, man, they're spending money on I don't even know what kind of control.
They've got Warner Brothers seems to have a good relationship with a couple of mediocre costume designers for a lot of their studios.
And do they reuse them all the time or something? Because the shit looks the same all the. Are you serious, Script?
Oh yeah, like studios have their short list of who they like to work with, and that list does change, somewhat as years go by. But yeah, they do have their short list. And
no, but it's getting shorter and shorter. Script's right. There's not as
it's
much
smaller. The other part too is like some of the people that can compete, they can't underbid some of the ones that are already in there because they want to make money and they want to be able to keep their lights on. And some of these other bigger ones that have been here for a while, they can take a couple of cost cutting measures to secure them more jobs from other studios or other projects to make up those losses for a credit with Warner Brothers studio production. But what's really been egregious is that when it came to the special effects driven superhero films, they go so overtly detailed with the costume to the point where it's so busy. A poor kid, 5-year-old to 10-year-old kid who wants to draw their superhero, they can't do the details. And if they try to, it looks like a mess. And it's like you're missing the principal aspect of what made great comic book heroes to begin with, is that the costumes are simple enough that a kid could draw it and you as an adult would know exactly what that superhero was.
I blame this on 3 things. Number 1, X-Men. Because they insisted that the X-Men look like a gay biker group. Number 2.
Wow.
And this is mostly Bryan Singer's fault. Number 2, Superman Returns. Why? Because that's where the busy business started. if you look closely, they have little S's all throughout his freaking costume. Okay.
I hated that
I
movie.
hate that stuff.
And then number 3, what changed this shit was just like Batman in Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises and stuff like that. Because why? Because they turned Batman into a tactical outfit.
Yep.
And less of
Busy's the perfect word for it, script doctor. It's just like you're spending all this money and effort on just making the screen and the details way too crowded. Less is more, simplicity.
Oh,
what
yeah.
happens
Look at
just like
the Superman suit from 78 that Christopher Reeve wore. Simple. Easy.
yeah.
The only thing they had
Perfect.
to worry about is making sure the fabric didn't retain sweat marks. Like, that was the thing that they cared about. It's like, okay, Superman doesn't sweat. So how do we make sure that if the actor inside is sweating, we don't see it?
Yep.
That's what they worked on. Like,
No,
that's
and
what's
it looks
important.
and they kind of went back to that with Spider-Man now. Remember at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, his suit emulates more of Christopher Reeve's Superman suit than it does all the other Marvel suits we've seen to this point.
Well, the original fabric suit that Tony Stark made him was very simple too. The only thing
I
you have
didn't
to
mind
ignore
that
is
so
all
much.
the tech that's in it. Like the tech that wasn't appropriate, but the actual material it was made out of, that was simple. It wasn't overtly detailed. It's like, okay, it's a solid blue, got a couple of black highlights, and the webbing marks. You're good to go. That was it.
No, I'll admit I like that one actually better than I do the Toby suits. I thought the Toby suits were a bit. That was probably, if there's a number 4, it's probably Spider-Man, because the Toby suits were a bit too busy.
Yeah.
They weren't overly busy, but the raising of the web, and they couldn't decide how big the spider was going to be in each movie.
Yeah.
Shit, doesn't it change sizes in one of the films?
Does it really? I never actually.
I don't know if it
noticed
does
that.
actually mid-film or not, but like I know between first, second, and third film, it changes sizes in each movie. And I can't remember if in the first movie they hadn't decided what size they wanted on, so some of the earlier stuff it's a bit different, but I can't remember now. I'd have to go back and look.
I got a question. Which movie's gonna make more money, the Marvels or the Not Flash movie?
Oh, the Not Flash movie.
The Not Flash movie will probably make more.
It's got Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton go.
However,
for it,
I
at
think
least.
the Marvels has a better chance of making a profit than the Flash movie.
You're not wrong there.
That's true. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Sadly.
I mean, Marvels may have been delayed 3 times, but the level of reshoots hasn't been nearly as extensive as what's been going on with the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know E-Clay, they do look all the same, but if you actually look at them back to back, there's little subtle differences, and the biggest one is always the spider. The size of the spider.
Like on the chest or on the back?
Both. Usually the one on the back more so, but yeah. Jerry Gord says Ezra just needs to cast a spell for us like a Mad Goose Wizard spell. Yeah, well, he is a cult leader, so. Oh Lord. Oh man. So other than that, a lot of the trailers were just shown to the people at Cinemacon. They did get to see a Dune trailer. They got to see a Wonka trailer. They got to see
what kind of people
Aquaman
go to
trailer.
CinemaCon? Can I ask that question, Script and Tom? Like who
I
tends to
should
go?
be there.
Oh,
but,
technically it's theater owners.
Theater
Theater
owners,
owners go to CinemaCon. It's part of the preview for what's coming out throughout the year. Like, so some of the movies that are close to release date, they'll show then, and then they'll show sizzle reels or trailers or stuff that's coming out for later to get them excited so that they participate in some of the cross promotions. There's certain theater chains have something called a MAG, which is basically a detailed list of what's coming out over the course of the months and how they want displays and merchandise and all that stuff for that advertise the movie, display, put out and displayed, and how you address questions and stuff. It's all I've got to experience a couple of times working on some smaller films that did this, and I felt really bad for everyone that worked at a movie theater that had to try and follow these rules. But that's what CinemaCon was. It had another name before that. I can't remember what it was. It was before my time. But
I'm trying to remember. But yeah, you're right. It started more so as a promotional thing for the theater owners to come in and get them all excited for what was coming for the year. And then the entertainment world kind of got into it a little bit more. Now it's become a bit kind of like a mix between that and like Comic-Con, but like,
you have to pay a premium price to get in on some of those theater showings.
Yeah, they do actually show like tonight. Like I said, at some point today or tonight, they're showing The Flash.
Yeah,
right.
but that's mostly to the theater owners and their plus ones. So
yeah, like basically like just the general public ain't gonna be able to get in unless you're like press or a theater owner. That's the only way you're gonna get in.
Yeah.
But they did show like Ghostbusters Afterlife 2 years ago. I can't remember what they showed last year. But like I was looking for this reel because I can't remember what they used to call. I can't remember what it was called back in the day too. But they had this old reel from Ghostbusters. It's on the Blu-rays where they sent that to show. I'm trying to remember what it was called back then because it's always been in Vegas though.
Yes.
Here it is. Show West. That's what they used to call it.
Right. Show West. Yep.
So I'm going to show this because this is funny. Actually, this is a little piece of history.
That
here.
rings a bell.
And we also got Ghostbuster news. Ironically, I guess Ernie Hudson did confirm that everybody's going to be in a returning cast anyway, as far as the movie.
Yeah, that's including Bill Murray.
Yep.
They're saying
including
the Flash is showing right now. People are saying.
I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. Yeah.
And Art said R&B is watching it, so I'm sure it's really.
Oh, I know what this is. I remember
this. Triumph, I guess.
Yeah, this is hilarious. So this is the kind of thing they normally show. It's like a sizzle reel or something to get everybody kind of excited. This is just a little piece of history.
Having a good time in Reno, or I mean Vegas, and I hope that not too many of you have discovered that little game with the tiny squares with the dots on it. You know, the one that depends on odds. You know the odds. That's a big part of Vegas, isn't it?
Yes, and when you talk about odd, you talk about you folks in Las Vegas this week.
You guys really know how to have a good time. There's no question about it. Some of those chaps from General Cinema are just wild. I heard about one who swallowed 12 roulette balls and then took a ride in a clothes dryer. And the people from Canada, that Odeon chain, they are party animals. There's no question about it. We're here to talk about a different kind of odds. And that is the odds that will be in your favor when you exhibit perhaps the greatest comedy motion picture of all time.
I mean, this is going to make E.T. look like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be one HFM. Do you know what I mean? This is going to be the kind of thing that your children are going to say, Dad, I can look up to you now, and I never could before. Isn't it worth it? Isn't it worth it? God, I mean, we made a lot of cheap movies for you guys that made a lot of money, and now we kind of spend a little more than we're supposed to.
Columbia Pictures has spared no expense to make this a fine science fiction comedy spectacle.
What a bunch of good sports they are.
And it is PG. I'm fucking telling you, it's PG.
I mean, that's gotta help. I mean, PG, pink gums. I mean, the people who can come in and eat and eat and eat that sugar and popcorn and those soft drinks.
And the thickness of the sucrose syrup on the floors of your theaters after this film is over, after every screening. I mean, we're talking inches and inches.
It's going to be an exciting time for all of us. And I really hope that you can all be a part of this. And if not, well, it's all right. We got some Canadian Film Board stuff we want you to look at.
Now, you might be seeing some black and white footage, and of course, you know this is a work print. And we're going to try to show you little bits of the film and get you excited. We certainly are.
And if that doesn't work, we have 117 girls who are looking for scholarships to nursing school. They'll be circulating through your rooms over the next day or so.
And we thank you, and we hope you enjoy the bit of the film that we've cut together for your viewing pleasure today.
That's the old theme.
Yep. We know that Columbia is charging a lot of money for this. We heard this. It was our idea. But there are some perks. You'll be able to have the successful comedy, and you'll be able to meet someone special back in your room in just a few minutes, as soon as this meeting's over. That's right. All taken care of by the good people over at Columbia Pictures, subsidiary of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola Bottling Company.
Ghostbusters. The brave, the best, the only Ghostbusters.
can tell why they changed that theme. Holy crap!
I mean, it's a catchy theme, but it's not Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I do wish I could hear the whole song though. That'd be fantastic.
Nice little piece of
that's great
history though.
I feel like maybe he's being serious about the ladies waiting in the room.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Could be.
The 80s were a fun time, my friend.
Yep.
Especially pre-AIDS scare.
Wow.
Yeah, the theme just didn't work. Yeah.
No, it was
80s
too
were the
much like
best.
something you get on like Caddyshack or Stripes or the other types of films. Yeah.
Yeah, so people were comparing it to like Beverly Hills Cop type music.
Yeah.
Gonzalo Bergali has been a member for 17 months at the Congo level and says, or he gifted memberships. Holy crap. Thank you so much. Indie, Elements, Fast X, Little Mermaid, Transformers. Which one? Or no, he didn't. This is a thing. Okay. Which one loses more money?
And by the way, he asked me a question. There is no member chat bot. We always have to do it manually because StreamYard and YouTube. There is no, just because 6 makes it look pretty in the morning, it's still manually done every freaking time.
Yeah.
Because
but you know what 6 also
sucks.
did? She got the attention of the StreamYards people on Twitter.
I saw that.
Because I've said this shit to him, I don't know how many dozen times, just at the end of the show, they allow us to say if there's something that didn't work out or whatever. And I've said it a million times now. Fix the member chats. Fix the member chats. Fix the member chats. Well, she finally got a hold of somebody on Twitter and she said something about it. And they're like, oh, you want us to show all the member chats on StreamYards too? We're like, duh. You think? Okay, so which one loses most money out of these? I'm going to say Little Mermaid. Well, no, wait.
I don't think they spend much on Little Mermaid.
Well, I think that'll do. Elemental, I don't think it's going to do very well.
It's really hard because I mean the budgets for all of these are very different. Like Fast X is pretty small, Little Mermaid is pretty small, Transformers is modest, Indie's pretty high, Marvels would probably be medium to high. I don't know about Elementals.
Elemental has nothing going for it though, and it looks like a ripoff of a Pixar movie made by Pixar. So it feels very. I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer yet.
I don't even want to.
It just looks like a company trying to make a movie that looks like a Pixar movie. It doesn't have the Pixar feeling to it. It feels very generic-ish, and it has a lot of the same kind of elements, not to be punny, as like Inside Out, basically. It seems like, only with now it's the elements instead of feelings. And the whole story looks bad. I don't know. I just don't think Elemental's going to do well. But as far as losing the most money, I think Indiana Jones, because it costs so much.
I'm also not sure there's a whole lot of interest in indie to begin with right now. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, but it doesn't seem like it's just bursting with anticipation to begin with. It's been away from the public eye for a long time.
Nick?
I think Indy's actually going to have a pretty good first weekend. Even though I myself am not really interested, I think it's going to do somewhere between 80 and 120 opening weekend. Whether you consider that a success or not is obviously a whole other conversation, but I predict at the very minimum 80 million. Now, I think the real conversation to be had is how big is the drop going to be for second weekend, because I know I feel very confident that it's going to play out that way. We already see what's happened with the movie and how it's going to play out. It's going to be, I have a feeling the train wreck is on the way with it. And I think a lot of people are hoping just to have that Harrison Ford adventure one last time, only to see it's, well, most likely something else. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. It's hard to say which one's going to lose the more money. That's a very hard question to answer because, as I think a script or Tom who said best, I mean, the budgets for these are different and the way they market, it's all various.
But I think as far as like Transformers, when they dropped that trailer, there was enough buzz that I think that one's going to do okay. Little Mermaid, even though it's been getting a lot of backlash, all of those Disney remakes have all made $1 billion. Fast X, doesn't matter how much it makes in the U.S. Why? Because it makes all its money outside of the U.S. All those movies always have.
Not only that, I mean the Latin market in the United States pretty much makes up a huge.
Pretty much.
huge amount of the box office for the Fast films. That's why they're still going to make them, and they're never going to stop.
No, they're the Friday the 13th of car movies. Then you got Elemental. That's the one I think is going to be the one to suffer, because I just don't see it having anything for the kids to want to see it, the adults to want to see it. I've seen the trailer like 3 or 4 times and nothing really sticks to me. Indie, I think Nick's right. I think it's going to have an okay opening. I think then it's going to rely on word of mouth from there on out. But as I've said before, I feel that indie has a little bit different audience than the main nerd going to the theater audience, like superheroes and all that stuff. It has more in common with the Top Gun audience. So a lot of those folks have no clue and don't care. Like, they don't talk about this shit on the daily like we do. Clobby, what's your take on this? What do you think?
I would have
You're
to
the
probably
only one besides Mike, I think, who hasn't went yet.
Maybe Indy, because how much they spent on it. I don't know, but how do you pick between all? I think most of these are going to lose a little bit, but I guess I'm going to go with it. Indy. That's going to be the big loser. Just a gut feeling. Of course, Little Mermaid could be the one.
Money Man Mike.
Indy overwhelmingly will be the money-making loser.
All right. And then this is where I saw the gifted memberships. Sorry about that. It was Mr. Buttcrack Media who gifted the memberships. I got flipped around there. Thank you so much, and thank you, Mikey, for modding tonight. Micah J says, I get that they have to say positive things about the movie, but looking at the replies, barely anyone are buying it. Well, that just goes to show you we're not buying it, right? Like, yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of, we all know how corporate works, right? You know, they're not going to come out there and tell you that the burger tastes like shit. They'll say it's sophisticated. They'll say it's exotic tasting. But they won't tell you it tastes like shit. Even though if you compared it to what, say, dog shit tasted like, it would probably be very similar. Right? So, I mean, but, no. It's just, yeah, they're not going to say anything bad.
Nope.
Yeah, of course not. And even if they did say something bad, what would get them? Like affirmation from the comics? They don't care about that.
No.
They are trying to make sure that no one involved in those productions can be pointed to and said, it's your fault this failed.
Yep.
Once you get that in mind, you will never get an honest thing out of any person that's promoting a movie ever. Just remember that.
Oh, never, ever. Yeah, no. And I mean, and I've seen a lot of people blaming this whole thing on James Gunn and the reboot of the DCU. Part of that could be it, but I don't think it's as big of a deal as people think it is. Like I've been saying, like none of these movies from DC have made any money. None of them really.
Maybe Aquaman?
Aquaman and Wonder Woman are the only two that you could really argue have been successful.
Of that part of the franchise. Because Joker's like the outside, you know.
I'm not counting that with the DCU. Exactly. And so, like, when people say, James Gunn and the reboot are killing Shazam and Black Adam's box office, I'm like, no. That was already dead before this thing was... Nobody cares. Yeah. Because the general audience don't know any of this shit. They don't give a shit. If I went to my dad right now and told him they're rebooting the DCU with James Gunn, he'd be like, huh?
I mean, your dad's also...
What do you want a gun
He went
for?
to a 20-year-old and said they're rebooting the DCU.
They'd be like, guns are bad, man. No. Yeah, exactly. Like, the general audience don't care, don't know. They're just done with this. Now the Flash movie might do pretty good, though, because of the simple fact that it's got Michael Keaton in it. Because that's what I said. The night that trailer dropped on the Super Bowl, I had no less than like 4 or 5 people of my normie friends and family come in. Oh, did you see not Ben Affleck? Michael Keaton's back?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I knew that from like 6 years ago, but okay, sure, yeah. I got to pretend to be excited for my friends when they do that, It's like they forget what I do for a living. It'd be like me going up to my friend who's a mechanic and going, I changed my own oil, and walk out the door. It's like, good for you, buddy. You know I do that for a living, right? Yes. That's why I told you I was excited. I did it for myself. But no, like it's just, I don't know. at the end of the day, like I said earlier, though, I don't think Ezra has a future in this at all. So
I'd be very surprised if he did. Like, it would just go against so much that Hollywood does right now, because they're in a very difficult bind, the studio. They can't, well, not so much they can't. They won't spend more money to reshoot it, replacing Ezra. They might as well just bite the bullet, get it out there, and then once it's done its run, they can be like, "Yep, bye, Ezra. We don't want that stink on our company anymore. So long."
Willie the Monkey King sends in his member chat and says, "I would blame the overly busy designs on modern video games, since they make every design way too busy." That's another thing. I mean, it's easy to over design these things now compared to what it used to be too. That's another problem.
And then he has a second part to that same chat.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
I
Part
think
two.
it's another part on top of that. But I'll let Mike finish his part 2, and then I'll.
He says, "Unpopular opinion. I'm debating on seeing Flash. The two Batmen really sell it. Sorry, guys." Oh, don't
have to apologize for that.
Yeah.
Yep, never apologize.
You want to see,
Never.
3 minutes of Ben Affleck and an hour of Michael Keaton? Yeah, I'm all
That's
for
all
it. Go
good.
for it. Why wouldn't you?
I am to the point, though, I think that we have seen all the scenes, not like in their entirety, but we've pretty much seen all the scenes where we're going to see both the Batman.
Mhm.
I think we've now experienced all the basics. And we already know from the leaks kind of what it is. So, I mean, for those who haven't checked into them, don't, because they are obviously accurate. So, unless you don't give a shit. Elizabeth Young sent a member chat and says, "So is Amber Turd still in Aquaman 2? Yes. Yes, they cut her out of the film? No.
Why would they spend money on something that
Why
they're not
would they
investing in
bother?
anymore? Yeah,
Exactly.
It doesn't matter to cut her out. Yeah, I mean, think about it. If it's the last movie of that universe, and you're already taking a loss, like what's the point?
See, that
That's the
tells
question
me
to ask
more
yourself.
so that they're definitely doing like a hard reset, and they have no real faith in this shit going on any further, because they would probably recast her and do it in this movie now. Because that tells me that this is it. Like you just said, Nick, this is the last of the last. I'm surprised they didn't just flip-flop them again like they're originally supposed to be anyway. Because the Flashpoint is the more logical place to end this whole thing, because then you can kind of end it on this whole big, yeah, we're doing our own Spider-Verse thing kind of thing with having everything matter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Again, like, listen, Warner Brothers is sticking to a schedule they initially had, and they just moved it back a year. And it's silly and it's dumb, and they shouldn't be doing it, but it's been locked in. And so you just have to tolerate it for the next 2 years until we see legitimately what James Gunn is going to bring to it. And it will be a miracle if it is a success. There's no doubt about that for James Gunn. He's got a lot going against him.
Yeah. And then here's what had just come up. John Apocalypse says, "Why make merch and have a Super ad for Flash now?" Because they got to try and...
They still have
make
to
some
try to
money.
make money.
And
Yeah,
like the
they
toys...
can't just drop it, let it all go, and say, "All right, well, we're screwed anyways."
Yeah, how suspicious would it be to anyone that's invested in the studio if they're like, you spent this much money on a Flash film and you didn't even try to advertise it?
Well,
Like, it would be put into question, and there'd be legal ramifications as a result of that.
That's absolutely
I don't
true.
understand. I don't understand why audiences don't get the idea that, okay, they made a bad movie. Well, we can't admit we made a bad movie, so let's try to make the audience go and see it in any way we possibly can, so that we can live up to our responsibilities to the studio and try at least attempt to make our money back on that. It's simple business practice.
If not the studio, so much more the licensees and stuff. That's what I was going to get to.
Yeah.
As far as the merch goes, like the toys, these things start... I mean, they were lucky they had a good head start with this one. But there is a limited window for them to get these things out, and it takes time to set them up for design, the molds, to have them manufactured, boxed, shipped out, all that kind of stuff before the movie comes out. So, and not have any of that kind of stuff. And that's the other problem they have now, is like people leaking shit out on top of it all. So that window, they've tried to make it to where, yeah. So you can't, these things were already in motion years ago. So they have to try and make good on it somehow. And Script's right. On that note, like if you're a licensee for a toy, and here's the thing, and I'm not saying you don't understand this, John, but some people don't, is it's not the studio themselves making those toys. A licensee comes in and they make a deal with the studio. They pay a license to DC to be able to make those Flash movie toys, specific movie toys, whether it's It's McFarlane or Hasbro or whoever else that handles it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they make those toys, and that's the gamble, right? It's so when these toys don't sell, DC or whoever, Disney or whoever we're talking about, they aren't really losing out any money unless they have a back end deal with the toys. And I don't know too many people have been able to work out a George Lucas deal with their toys.
DC should be able to, because they do have whole universal rights stuff, but it all comes down to how they do the licensing, which means that certain amount of money is invested in. Once that is paid off, then gross profits afterwards go back as residuals to the studio or to whatever sub-department that they have in there. It's pretty complicated, but yeah, Detective Comics has been making a lot of money off merchandise, more so than on their actual comic book publishing over the last 30 years.
Oh, in that respect, hell yeah.
And that has to do with the fact that they and technically Warner Brothers own all the character rights completely. Like, there's no debate about them. There's certain film right contracts that other people own, but it's through a contract with that studio. They can't go to another studio and do a Batman movie or a Superman movie without permission from Warner Brothers at this point.
Well, no, and I was watching this documentary the other day about this era before this, where the toy changed everything, right? It was the Star Wars. Star Wars changed everything. From then on out, every movie they made, they wanted to try to, is it toyetic, right?
Oh, I remember when Aliens had toy action figures. Like, well, that's weird, but okay.
Yeah, like they were trying on everything because they wanted to cash in on that deal. So yeah, the merchandising is a big deal. So that train leaves the station way early now because they have to. And that's where we heard, also speaking of Star Wars and Disney again, where we heard issues with where Rise of Palpatine was the only Star Wars movie in the history of Star Wars movies not to have a 3 3/4 inch line. And that was because, what is it, Mattel or Kenner, whoever it was that has the toy rights now, threw their hands up in the air because all the toys they had produced were of characters that weren't in the final film. So they had a warehouse full of toys they couldn't sell. Because they changed the movie so many times and they're still shooting it in the desert.
Wow.
With green screens.
Figures.
Like, I mean, that's the thing. So that's why this is what happened also with the prequels. People seem to forget this. This is why episode 2 didn't have as much merchandise. Because episode 1 had oversaturated merchandise, and then the merch people didn't want to sign up for the second film. I worked for Taco Bell at that time, and it came down from high above that they would never make a deal like they did again because of that. And Taco Bell has never done a movie tie-in since. Because of the shit they went through with Godzilla and the Phantom Menace. Trust me, I had a box full of Phantom Menace stuff that they could not get rid of.
Oh, do you really?
I had a box. Wow. Some of it I've been able to give it to my friends and shit over the years, but I had a box from my video store of toys I couldn't get rid of.
Wow. I still have my Yoda cup from the Phantom Menace from Taco Bell.
I've got the Naboo Starfighter video game, like the giant toy that's also a video game. I still have that in the original packaging in a chest somewhere.
No, you heard wrong, E-Clay. It's only a 1/4 inch. I can get it up to 2 maybe if I get excited.
It's not the size that matters. It's the motion of the ocean.
It's the batteries. It's the size of the batteries, right? Nikki D says, how much does Guardians of the Galaxy 3 have to make in the box office to be considered a success? Still think it'll open 140 million domestically and finish 850 globally. I think that's a pretty good place to set.
I can see that. Yeah.
As far as the movie goes, I don't think it probably had as much problems as some of the other Marvel films do because James Gunn has a lot of control over that. Mm-hmm. I don't think he was probably had to deal with a lot of this type of shit that a lot of the other Marvel features have. I don't think there was a bunch of reshoots. I don't think there was a bunch of redoing of special effects. So honestly, at the end of the day, I bet you this is probably one of the more modestly budgeted Marvel films in the last 2-3 years, if I had to take a guess. But I don't know even at a $200 million budget, just from the stuff we're seeing from the trailers, whether or not you've liked it or not. You know, one thing I haven't heard anybody say about the trailers of Guardians of the Galaxy so far yet? Anything about the effects.
Yeah. There's been no problems with them, it doesn't seem.
And they just released a scene yesterday or earlier today, I can't remember which, where they had it must be a flashback to when Rocket was younger. It has him and the otter and a walrus and a bunny with a mask on its face, talking, and the scene's great. It looks great. Not at any time did I really feel like it was overly CGI'd. I mean, yeah, you can tell it's CGI. Don't get me wrong, but not to the extent of the She-Hulk type shit or some of the other stuff we've seen. So at this point, I haven't heard anybody bitch about that. So
Yeah.
I don't think he's had the problems or anything to deal with. So we'll see. Member chat from Goddess of Whim, who's been here for 24 months. Thank you so much for that. That's your 2-year anniversary. Congratulations. And with that, there wasn't really too much else. We haven't gotten really much out of Cinemacon because, like I said, they got to see all the trailers, but we didn't. There's more political news than anything right now, which is sad. Because we don't have any trailers for Dune or Wonka or anything like that. The only other news I can really guess we can get into is Dune will be shot and complete from 100% IMAX. I don't know I think that's the first time that's ever been done in history for a film, if I'm not mistaken. Unless Nolan beat him
this
to
level, at least, yeah.
Well, yeah, and yeah,
because they've had like
feature films,
feature films. Like they've had like 2-hour documentaries or docu-series that are all done in IMAX and things of that nature.
No, I'm talking about feature films. Yeah, because I think even Nolan's done almost all of his films. Still have had pieces that were done in either 65 or 35 millimeter, not all IMAX.
Well, he's had to because IMAX cameras are huge, and some of the shots he wants to take require a smaller camera to fit in a certain area, and they haven't figured out how to minimize.
Unless Avatar 2 did it. Did Avatar 2 do it? I didn't even think about that.
Does it count? Because it is technically mostly a computer.
That's what I mean. Film. But see, that's the thing. From what I heard, this was actually 100% shot with the IMAX cameras. So, so we'll have to see on that. I'm not sure. Somebody knows that for sure. Send me the info. I'd love to know. Waltman says, didn't NBC Universal CEO step down? Oh, I didn't hear about this.
News to
At least
me.
it's not made the headlines anyway. Yeah. Let's see here. I'll type it in and see. NBC Universal step up. Jeff Shell is leaving the company after an outside investigation into a complaint about inappropriate conduct.
Wait, I'm leaving what? I turned around, I refilled my drink and came up. What happened? I'm getting fired? What
Mikey,
happened?
We got a report of some inappropriate content from you or contact.
Which one? Which time?
That's the problem, Mike. Multiple.
Oh, wait, hold on. I did that wrong. I am innocent. Nothing happened ever.
So, yeah, I guess this is what's happening. Yeah. This guy.
Who's this guy?
Jeff Shell, CEO of NBC Universal.
What's inappropriate conduct? It sounds like my daily lifestyle.
Well, now they say
everything
woman,
from hugging
so
to a window jump.
Yeah, in this day and age, it's hard to say, right? You
I mean, the things that come out of my mouth.
Like,
that's probably want to be careful with your words there.
What? Oh, Before we leave, I have a quick question for Script Doctor.
Sure.
When should TV shows be serialized versus episodic?
Okay, so that is a concept-dependent attribute. I think. So unless you have a story that you need to tell over multiple episodes, then it would be a serialized. But if you just have a group of characters and you want to put them in various situations, if that's the crux of your concept, then episodic would be better to approach. That is the better take for it. And if you're doing some sort of ongoing story, it has to have a simple plot and it has to have multiple stages from one point to another in order for it to maintain. And ideally, you want to actually have an ending in sight. You need to have that going forward if you're going to do serialized. With episodic, you don't need an ending in sight because it's just what new situation can we put these characters into this week.
Got it. That's why TOS worked, and that's why situation comedies worked the way they did.
Yes.
Got it.
With soap operas,
I've been meaning to ask you this for like 3 weeks. I just keep.
That's okay. So with soap operas, for example, they have they're serialized, but the thing is, their serialization comes in pockets of stories, kind of similar to what Andor did. Andor didn't do it as well as soap operas, unfortunately. But soap operas will have they'll start a story arc. They'll bring in a new character, or they'll have a conflict between two characters. That's an ongoing plot, and it's something that you follow for 6 weeks or so until it gets resolved. And then once that's done, you kind of start a brand new serialized plot, and it works in blocks and sections. And it's probably the better model for a streaming show if you were to do something like a superhero streaming show. Like, take the framework of what they did in comics, where they had 2 or 3 to 6 or 12-parter comic book stories that were of its own, kind of line, so to speak, within the main title. And once that completed, you'd start something new. And it's still the same characters, and you can, if you want to, reference the previous story, but you aren't obligated. So it's a little complicated thing, but it is a better model than trying to just force a serialized story onto a premise that is probably better suited for episodic.
Got it. Thanks, boss.
Well, thank you.
Tom, that was your
my
cue.
friends, was a script doctor moment.
Who want to know who he is? The script doctor is really Doogie Howser. He time travel portals all around the universe, and that's how he has a commanding mastery of all things entertainment. He's
I am
Doogie
the
Howser.
straight Neil Patrick Harris.
You are the straight Neil Patrick Harris, and you're 14.
Mecca J says, "I hear that Beetlejuice is getting a sequel again.
Yes,
again.
They've been working on that sequel for 30 years.
30 years." I'll believe it once I finally see some footage and or maybe some sort of set photos that confirm that it's Beetlejuice.
A set release date.
Do we need this?
Anything.
It's gonna
It
happen,
doesn't necessarily
probably.
need a release date yet, because sometimes those don't stick, but like something to confirm that it's actually happening.
Yeah.
But no, anything. No, I haven't. I'll believe it once it happens. This is one of those, I swear it's cursed projects that'll never be. Not that it really needs one at this point. I feel like just leave it alone. Not everything needs a darn sequel.
No.
Hollywood doesn't know how to not make sequels.
no.
Like I said, it's that press meeting I made up where person number one's like, "Hey guys, let's make a sequel." And person number 2 says to what? And then person number 1 says anything. And that's the conversation.
Has that had a sequel yet? Yeah, only a few. And only a couple of remakes.
The only reason I think this might be happening now is because I heard some rumors about what's her face who plays Wednesday. What's her name? Jenna Ortega. Supposedly she's been in talks to play Winona Ryder's daughter in the film. That's the only reason I put any stock in this, because she's so hot right now that between her and Michael Keaton would get the project off the ground if they were signed up. Winona Ryder, well, one way or the other. That's where I see that. Elizabeth Young says, "Script doctor, what does a line director do?"
Ooh.
That's part of production. I don't always have access to that type of stuff, but usually a line director kind of should be directing stuff that's within the line items of the production itself, like within accounting or finances. But again, that's part of production that I don't often get a chance to experience. So I haven't met anyone with a line director credit. I met line producers; those are different.
I was gonna say, don't they have different names for different things on different coasts and stuff?
Some do, yeah. I'm slowly learning some stuff about Australian production, but I can't really get into that at the moment.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know exactly what a line director would be either. I know it would have nothing to do with lines.
Wait a minute, isn't that back in the day when on the production set you had the guy in charge of the cocaine and drugs and he set up the lines for everybody?
Maybe
that would be the production assistant, but they could have been the line director. I mean, Harvey Keitel had a couple of guys that used to do that for him.
Jesus, I was kidding. I didn't even think that was a real thing.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, they do it in the trailer. I mean, some would be like you have to use a credit card. Some would be like you have to use the specific razor blade. Make sure you do it on the mirror. Don't scratch the mirror.
What? According to this, a line producer.
I know a line producer. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't come up with line director though, so I'm thinking it may be the same thing, just a different term depending on what.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it comes up.
Line producers into budgetary stuff. They work
hiring the crew, allocating the money.
Yeah.
Filming. budget. Yep. So I don't know. Otherwise, a line director would it just be somebody who would maybe just make sure those people are doing their
like,
jobs.
Here's a line,
maybe
stand behind the director. I don't know.
Well, no, I would say they maybe that individual makes sure they actually do their job. Perhaps.
No, that's the assistant director.
Yeah, there you go.
And so the first assistant director is the quote unquote bully on set. He's the one that tells everyone to be quiet. He's the one that, if the director's upset with someone, the director won't actually say it. They'll tell the first AD, and the first AD will say it to the person. Sometimes the first AD will be involved in the blocking of the cast and crew on cast and background on set. Sometimes they delegate that to the second and third AD. So yeah, and for first assistant directors or assistant directors in general, it takes a long time to be an assistant director. In fact, it's quicker to be a director than it is to be an assistant director in the industry, because there's so much stuff that you have to learn, because you're coordinating not just with the director and the actors and crew, but you're also coordinating with the producers back at the studio. You're overseeing, making sure that the dailies are being properly transmitted to the studio, and then getting feedback from them. Or arranging for the director to come and sit into with that along with the producer and their management team. Like it's a really complicated job.
Yeah, anything I look into for line director leads me right into line producer. So I don't know.
Okay, so maybe it was just a misuse of that word in the super chat, which is all right.
Like I said, no, I mean, it doesn't come up at all. So
it's like maybe they intended to say producer, but they wrote director by mistake. Yeah.
Cthulhu says script Mexican Iron Man should be encouraged to see Copland as Stallone excellence.
Copland's pretty good, yeah.
Pretty good, but
I mean, it's not as fun. It's not as fun as the other films.
I was gonna say, actually, I think to be able to really appreciate Stallone's performance, you have to have seen him in other things. I think it's one of those kind of things. That's just me.
God, I'm a long way from Tulsa King, aren't I?
I could be wrong. No, I think you could jump into Tulsa King. Right?
No, Tulsa King, you could probably go in cold.
And dry.
That's something, yeah. That's actually a role that Stallone has never really played before.
Yeah.
And he even brings that up, because he had auditioned for roles like that back in the day, but they're like, they couldn't understand me, so they would know. He auditioned for the Godfather.
He looks like a Godfather now. He's like a perfect Godfather.
He wouldn't have made a bad Michael.
Oh, is the Godfather? Sonny. No, I don't see him being that. But
no, not the Godfather, but he could play Michael or Sonny. I think he could have. Maybe more so Sonny. But they've seen him as too ugly, basically, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, no.
No, he sacrificed all he could to be Rocky. If it wasn't for that,
I know.
He wouldn't have Sylvester Stallone. He'd be Sylvester Stallone writer.
Yeah, that was a super limited budget, super big chance for him to work on in every way. Oh yeah, and I remember I've definitely am aware of the history on Rocky. Yeah, no, that was a gamble for him at the time. That was a huge gamble for him.
Well, he could have made a lot of money off it had he not been in it, right? And he probably could have had a very decent writing career and maybe moved into directing eventually, if he had not had aspirations to act.
No, you're right.
That's what kind of got in the way more so than anything.
And you know, he would have definitely been remembered as if he stuck to being a writer. He definitely would have been remembered for that. Obviously, don't get me wrong, I love him.
Well,
for
people don't think about how good of a writer director is.
Yeah, he does. Gets the
they
credit
see him
for
as
it.
the character. They don't see him as Sylvester Stallone.
He knows how to tell a story. He knows how when he needs to do continuity for it. He knows how to keep things held together. He knows what makes a character a character. He understands an ongoing story. He's actually really underrated in that department. He obviously knows how to direct as well. So yeah, Stallone is great in those art departments. Yeah, he definitely deserves more accolades for those things.
Inverse opinion does remind me. Yes, that's true. He did play a Godfather in Oscar. Not exactly the same kind of one, but yeah. And I don't think he wants to remember that. Because that's the movie that killed John Landis's career.
Is it? No.
Yeah, it wasn't all the other shit. It was that movie.
I I'm just glad that stopping my mom will shoot didn't kill Stallone's career, considering the circumstances of how he entered that movie.
He was lucky he was pretty bulletproof at that point, yeah.
No, that is.
If he had
that's
done it
true.
3 years later, 4 years later, that'd have been a bigger disaster.
I don't know. I mean, he does
level
phone in the
disaster.
performance. That's the thing. As bad as that movie is, Stallone
it's
is
not
actually pretty good
unwatchable.
in it. Like you buy into what he's going through.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen the movie at least a handful of times. I don't hate it. It's not too bad for what it is. It was it good? No. But I laugh at a few bits in it, okay? I'll admit it. And I like Sly up against Estelle Getty. Their chemistry works. That's the only thing that really works in the movie. Other than that, yeah, it is a joke. It's a footnote. No, but believe it or not, it wasn't Beverly Hills Cop 3 that ended his career. It was Oscar. Because Oscar cost a shit ton of money. And it didn't make diddly. Because up to that point, he did Beverly Hills Cop 3 as basically as a favor to Paramount. Because I can't remember who was originally.
And he phoned it in like a favor to Paramount.
Well, he had an uphill battle of, because when he was brought in, I can't remember who he was replacing because there was already another director on board. Because famously, Eddie Murphy said he'd never work with Landis again, and he did it in a very harsh way. Clobby knows this story because I just told it the other night over on
Mark's
show
show.
there.
Mark's
show, yeah. Where he was on Arsenio Hall, and whatever it was that went down between Eddie and him during Coming to America, he said that Vic Morrow had more of a chance of working with him again.
Yeah, that was terrible. Ooh.
And that sent like a lot of people off. And yeah, so like there was this whole thing like, would he work with him again? But I guess they worked it out. I can't remember who the original director was, but he got booted from the project. But as soon as Landis got brought in, the first thing they told him is Eddie doesn't want to be funny. So whatever you do, try to make Eddie funny without him knowing it.
It's like the Bowfinger effect.
Exactly. So he had an impossible job in that movie. So he's like,
yeah,
what do I do? You know, and he was already kind of saddled with a script. They had already spent, I can't remember how much already on this movie, because this was a movie that had been like development hell for like 5 years already.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Paramount had wanted a Beverly Hills Cop 3 for a long time. So, and when it came out, it just flopped, unfortunately. And it's not that bad of a film either, but it
Not
just
too bad.
wasn't up to the snuff of the first two.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Actually, the second one's nowhere near in the class of the first one. So.
Oh,
some people will argue that, yeah. And then there's some people who
like the
say it's
second?
just as good. I like the second.
Oh man, it took me a long time to warm up. Up to that one for me.
Third one looks like it's a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, the third one has yes. The script is not wrong. It has that problem. Even as much money as what was spent on it, it for some fucking reason does look like that.
Well, I suspect that it was more like money was embezzled from it.
Well, it was the lighting and the way it was shot. It was shot very flat.
They didn't use the right lenses.
That too.
Literally, that's why I joke and say that, yeah, John Landis phoned it in as well. Like, he just didn't care.
Probably. I mean, at the end of the day, and then they shot it at Great America because why? Because Paramount owned them at the time or whatever, or vice versa. That's why.
That was my theme park growing up.
Because they wanted Disney World. That was the whole point. But yeah.
Yeah. Wonder World.
They should have made it Wally World. That'd have been hilarious.
Yeah.
They probably couldn't get the rights. Speaking of that, oh, there we go. There's something I can bitch about real quick other than Sadie downstairs. Did you see that on my Twitter Today script? I thought you'd get a kick out of that. That's like some racist Canadian shit on the cover of National Lampoon's Vacation 4K.
You haven't shown me anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I asked if you saw it today or not on my Twitter.
I haven't seen anything.
Okay. So this is one of the covers for the new National Lampoon's Vacation 4K. I'm still trying to figure out why the fuck John Candy's riding on a moose.
What?
We all ride moose up.
Isn't
here,
Wally
in case
World
you didn't know?
the Wally World? That's a moose, isn't it? The Wally.
It's
Wally
Marty Moose. It's not a real moose.
Okay. I know. I don't get it.
Weird.
That's what I said. I don't fucking get it.
Not
Who
only
the
that,
fuck
John
did
Candy's
this?
only in the movie for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's at the very end. He's actually, speaking of reshoots, yeah, his whole bit is reshoots in that movie. Because originally, they took Roy Wally hostage at his
Yeah.
house, and it went really dark. They had his family and maids and butler like performing for them at gunpoint. And it just was like not working. So they reshot it and they couldn't get back. I can't remember who it was who worked on the other one, but they got John in there and he helped make it funny because you needed that. But why is he riding on a moose?
No idea.
It's like somebody told somebody about this movie, but they never watched it. You know what I mean? Like, and they just put this together. I'm sorry. This just bothered me today. It really did. Why is John Candy on a moose? That's some racist shit
in Canada. Yeah. It's accurate. We live in igloos. We have polar bears.
Listen, it doesn't take much for any of us to tame a moose. I mean, they may be big, but once you get one tamed, they are the cuddliest, sweetest things, most loyal, more loyal than dogs.
What? Wait, so you're telling me?
You're telling me kill your ass?
Wait, so you're telling me if I get a moose instead of Bambino, like the moose will actually listen to me as opposed to this freaking Bambino?
It'll listen to you, and not only that, it'll be the best guard moose of your house, or as the Scots say it, the moose in the hoose.
All right, how many Bambinos do I got to trade to get one moose?
Well, it's a weight ratio, so however Bambino weighs, you need that for.
Oh God, you're gonna need a lot of Bambinos.
Shit, I'm gonna have to use all my rabbit chickens plus Bambino.
Sorry, folks. Park's closed. The moose out front should have told you. That was a pretty good John Candy there, I thought.
It was.
Have you ever done National Lampoon's Vacation yet on Toxic Tuesday?
We had. I think you were a part of that. Yeah, we did.
We've done so many of
them.
Hold up. No. I got to correct myself. We did Christmas vacation, not vacation. We do gotta do vacation. We do gotta do vacation. Yes. No. When we definitely get back into a comedy phase, we'll definitely tackle into vacation. We definitely have to. Obviously, right now we're in obviously a very action-based phase right now.
Honestly, I'll tell you, National Lampoon's Vacation probably has I'm not a big fan of like anything happening to animals in movies. Full disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I'm not above a good joke. And I'll tell you right now, National Lampoon's One and Christmas Vacation probably both have the funniest pet death scenes in any movies.
The cat on the electrical wire is great.
The cat, and then you have in the first film the dog. On a leash, and the cop. The cop is what makes the scene, though, right? Like that's
a
little pup like that when I was younger. Poor fella, probably kept up with you for about a half a mile or so.
Yep.
Oh, I'm really sorry.
You would go to jail even at that point.
I must have got distracted. I tied him up to the bumper. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go clean up the carcass. Yeah, that fucking dog was mean though. He pissed on the picnic basket. My sandwich is wet. All the sandwiches are wet. Oh my God, the dog went on the basket. And Edna just keeps eating it. It's like, I have seen National Lampoon's Vacation so many times. Full disclosure, it was one of the first videos I ever had. So that's why I've seen it so many damn times. Yeah, it was one my dad brought home from the pile of tapes that were supposedly broke. And that was the beauty of it back then, was when they would decommission the tapes, even if they had just a little itty bitty spot that had a little tracking problem in it or got ate up in somebody's VCR. Because back then VCRs were so expensive, they were worried somebody would try to sue them to get the money back for their VCR getting broke if something went wrong. So if any tape had ever gotten ate up, it just got tossed to the office and then the guys could take it home. Mm-hmm. And National Lampoon's Vacation was one of those in a stack of them. So was Death Wish 2.
Oh yeah.
Speaking
that's
of.
true. Yeah. Speaking of, that's a good way to transition. I mean,
Oh,
Toxic
shoot.
Toxic Tuesday in a half hour. It's good. You guys are gonna
Toxic
have a
Taco
Death Wish.
Tuesday.
Oh, Toxic Taco Tuesday. Now I feel like Mike has to hold off on First Blood just so he can talk about it on Toxic. And you know what? If he wants to bring Snow Dub along with him, I'd be glad to have them both on.
Shun asks, did I buy that guy Taco Bell? It was a lady. It was a Karen. You got to read the story, right?
Did you buy that?
Yeah. It's on the Twitters.
Twitter.
I got a little too involved in it today. I had to back off. But yes, tonight on Toxic Tuesday, we're talking about Death Wish.
It's good.
Yeah.
That was good. That was a good Paul Kersey.
Yeah. Is that your favorite Bruce Willis movie?
My favorite Bruce Willis movie. You know what's sad is the Bruce Willis version ain't that bad. It's just unnecessary as fuck.
It's so weird though.
There's some things that obviously happened in the original that I feel like give it the weight of the situation that I feel like in the remake it definitely hurts it by a lot. I don't want.
Yeah, that's just kind of a strange movie.
Yeah, and the trailers for it were weird too. The trailers were really weird because the trailers felt kind of like, I don't want to say upbeat, but I feel like the settling, it should have definitely been more on the unsettling side because everything about the situation for Kersey is not good. It's not fun at all, and those trailers did not feel as heavy as the original.
It was just a bit derivative. Every time he would go shoot somebody, he'd yell, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!" I thought it was a little bit, everyone's like, "Come on, man."
He forgot what movie he was in.
Maybe I was hearing that in myself.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! You must have a death wish. Welcome to the party, pal.
Yep.
I don't know. With Paul Kersey though, is like, you killed my cousin's second wife. Now I'm gonna kill you.
Death Wish 5,000.
Death Wish 17.
Yeah, how many did he get up to? 4?
5.
Was it 5? That's right.
Yeah.
Death Wish 5. Audience nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But listen, all the death wishes have something interesting about them as they go. So it's
pretty much.
Yeah, it's
like I said, I unapologetically love them all for whatever reason. The 5th one is still probably the worst of the bunch, though, that's for sure, because that one's the one that feels the most phoned in of all of them. And actually, I don't even think his girlfriend dies in that one. I think she just...
Isn't it like the maid gets attacked or something?
I think she dies. Yeah. I think you're
I
right.
think at this point, no, you're misremembering. And remember, it just now that anyone who just slightly annoys him gets killed. I'm like, they insult somebody.
Anybody who looks at him comes within vicinity of him.
Yeah, like he's basically knee-jerk reaction to drawing that gun and shooting a person just because.
Yes.
Well, just knowing him, the odds are go up astronomically, because if you know him, somebody's either going to rape or murder you, or you raped or murdered somebody he knows.
Yes. And
you're dead meat one way or the other. It's just it's the law of odds are against you.
Bronson made a lot of movies in the 80s, didn't he?
Oh God, and that's the thing. All of his movies were generally like Death Wish ripoffs anyway.
Oh yeah.
Well, he had a few in there that weren't, but no, he was one of the highest paid. He was the highest paid actor for Canon. That's the only reason he had a big career at that time. Yeah, because Canon also picked up the Death Wish rights before they announced Death Wish 2 before they even had the rights.
To be fair, the way that movie is set up at the end, I swear they had a sequel in mind. With the way that ending is,
oddly enough, the director didn't. And the writer, you know what? We'll save this for Death Wish tonight.
Yes, we'll save it because
you want to hear this stuff. Come on tonight, because I've got some stuff for you tonight.
Oh, I can't wait! No, this is gonna be a fun one because this movie can be approached from so many angles, and I've got my angle. So we'll for 25 minutes, folks. Please tune in. It's gonna be blessed. It's gonna be the first of 3 straight episodes where we talk about Death Wish. We're gonna do 1, 2, and 3.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
Jeff Goldblum was smiling somewhere.
No,
we're not doing the crackdown though.
Oh yeah.
That's when they just finally just let Paul Kersey go loose, right?
I'm thinking about maybe down the line we'll do 4 and 5.
Right? I'm trying to remember now.
I
That's the
think
one where the cop actually tells him, he's like, fucking clean this block up, man. And he's like, all right. And then he goes in and just starts blowing the shit out of him.
I think down the line we'll do 4 and 5, but no, right? I don't think we're gonna do 5.
Because 3 had Bill in it, right?
Yes.
Who?
Okay. Alex Winter.
Oh, really? Bill's
That was one of his early movies.
Wow.
And then 4, I believe, is the one that had the guy who played Brad from Superman, the movie. Or 2 and 3.
You mean okay.
And,
So yeah,
but he had a
Chuck
reverse
Cunningham.
Mohawk. Yes,
Chuck
Cunningham. You're right. But he had a reverse Mohawk.
Oh wow. And Marina Sirtis was in one of them, right?
Yes, I think she gets
2 or 3, 4 or 5 or 6 or 7.
I can't remember which one she's in. I think
I think number 2.
She's either in number 2 or 3, or she's in another Bronson movie. I'm trying to remember.
No, she's definitely in A Death Wish.
She's in A Death Wish? Okay.
Yeah.
Because he did so many for Canon, that's the problem.
Yeah, I can't remember all the movies he did.
Because she did another one for Canon too besides that then.
They're saying 3 in the chat.
Where she gets in like a is it 3? Okay, that's what I thought. Because she also gets
some
into a fight where they're topless in another movie, and I can't remember what it is.
Yeah. She's a killer victim in one of them. Yeah.
Somebody in the chat will know it. Mr. Bigwig Majig AG Lig Vietnam.
Wow, I love that name.
Sends in what is TRY? I can't remember now. I knew it.
Try 22.
I forgot now. Turkey? I looked it up. Oh yes, Turkish. That's it. Turkish. He does this every time. He tells us in the chat, and then I look there. Yeah. Tune into Nick's. It's huge. ML from Turkey. Huge. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for listening in Turkey. I love it that we got people from all over the world. It's amazing. Troy shows her boobs in the topless fight, and Tom Cameron. I know. Well, I was.
There you go.
So we all know where Mad's face is going to be planted on. Then the coming.
He's the one that gets blown up with the rocket launcher. Pretty sure.
Oh,
and you would know. Look at, isn't that Charles Bronson on you?
There he is, right there. Charles Bronson.
In comic book form.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you in comic book form too.
Yeah. But he was. I like his younger work though, when he was in Great Escape and The Magnificent Seven.
Oh yeah,
and a bunch of TV shows.
Yeah, Magnificent.
I loved his bit in The Magnificent Seven because the kids all
so great. That was he was great.
They're like, you want to avenge him if he dies.
Yeah. He was really great in that.
Yes, it's Charlie B. Awesome. Yes, he's a man's man.
And he was married to Jill Ireland, so.
I heard he was very bougie.
What he?
Very bougie. Like
all
the suits that he wears
too,
and stuff like that. And
he was what? He was what?
Bougie.
What did you say? It wasn't near you. What that means?
Like, oh, you know what that means? That means just all like upper class shit.
It's bourgeoisie.
Bourgeois, yeah.
Oh, okay. Pretentious, like snobby.
Yeah.
Snobby elitist 1% or 1% of the 1%.
Oh, okay. Really? I would not have believed it of Charles Bronson. What a shame.
Well, he was still a nice guy from what I heard, but yeah.
He was also great. One of my favorite science fiction films, Master of the World. He was great in that.
Okay. I'd love to talk about that, but I do have to get going. I got
we got
obligation here at home for 30 minutes, and then I might be free again later.
So, Script Doctor.
Sorry.
Go ahead and plug your stuff on your way out.
Just follow me on Twitter, Script Doctor PhD, and subscribe to my Patreon if you're interested in early access to videos, reviews, tips on writing, and discounts on screenwriting consultant packages.
All right. Take care, Script.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great show. Bye.
Have a good night.
Take care, Script.
Let's go back around the bend. Nikki, we got you in 20 minutes now, right?
Yes, sir. 25? 20 minutes. Toxic Tuesday, Death Wish, and of course, Friday night Comic Shop Talk later this week. Adam Warlock Part 3, the conclusion of our saga on it. And of course, you can find me on here, Comics Division's channel as well. And I will also record my video tomorrow evening, so I'll have a video out this week as well. So yeah. Chat, thank you for being here. Great talk as always. To our wrenches, thank you for your services, and always good to hang out with these wonderful dudes on the panel, Mike, CC, Clubby, Script, and Tom. Thank you guys for having me, and to all of you who are going to be there for Toxic Tuesday, wish you should. I'll see you in a few minutes.
All right, buddy.
Awesome sauce. Clobby.
I think I'll be on with, I guess, I never know if he's sure if he's doing it or not. A great buddy Loki on 7 p.m. Central tomorrow night for the Comic Book Roundtable. But I will tell you that 9 p.m. tomorrow night on my channel, Wild Card Wednesday night, the great D. Bud Martin, yes, our own good buddy in the chat here, our own Wrench, is joining me. He's, of course, a lot of people don't know this. He's an expert on the character of Iron Man. He's written the book. He knows the character very well. And he'll be joining me to review an Iron Man comic, Iron Man #6. And I love reviewing comics on the channel. And as Nick does on his, we do it from them. And D-Bud is an extraordinary fellow. And I'm looking forward to it immensely, of course. And then Thursday night, I'll have the big clubhouse with Raquel and Mark, as always.
The Clubhouse.
Thanks for having me, Tom. Clubby's
Awesome
Clubhouse
sauce,
in
always.
session.
All right. It's CC. You can see him on CC Karaoke every Friday night, and I'm sure he's got some interviews he's working on. He must have stepped away for a moment. Oh, there he is.
I was there. I just had myself muted, and I pressed the unmute button and thought I was unmuted, but I wasn't. So I was speaking, and no one heard me. But tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific with Fat Steven Seagal, I'll be on his channel working on some new channel art. And then, as you mentioned, Friday nights karaoke, as always.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Mikey, the best YouTuber I know. My
What?
brother.
How is that even possible? I don't even work on my channel.
That's how good you are. You still get all the subs.
I will see you Thursday night. I will be late Thursday night, but I will be here Thursday night. I'll be about an hour late, but I will see you here Thursday night. Tomorrow's Midnight Edge in the morning. Do we have anything special going on tomorrow?
Carrie Smith is supposed to be there.
Ooh, I like her.
She's super cool.
Do I?
I like her a lot. She's great.
All right. And with that,
And
we're
with
gonna
that,
wrap this up. I'll be over on Toxic Tuesday here in a little bit. Hope to see you there. This should redirect you right to there. So take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.
What the hell is wrong with you people?